One of the things I count as the great blessings in my professional career is the opportunity to be front and center in the whole growth of women's sports.
It makes me appreciate the game more because there's just so many more layers to it.
It's just way more than just you out there.
Overcoming those obstacles just makes me a better person in general, makes me stronger mentally and physically.
So I'm Chris Gobrecht, and I'm the head women's basketball coach at the Air Force Academy. My coaching career began when I was 24 years old, and I first coached at Cal State Fullerton. My first Division I coaching job was Cal State Fullerton. So when I left Cal State Fullerton, shortly after that, the Pac-10 came into being, and I was at the University of Washington by that time. Was able to have the experience of now, and none of it was anything I ever, set out to make happen. It just happened. And I was fortunate to be along for the ride, After 11 years, wanted to have a different experience for both myself and my family. Took the Florida State job, but did not stay there long because USC came calling a year after that, and I went back to USC, which was my alma mater. And that was just a completely different kind of experience. Now being back in Los Angeles and being at an institution that had just a completely different mode of operation than any place I'd ever been. It was very interesting. Again, terrific learning experience, but also by that point, the Division I game had done a lot of shifting for women. There was much more money being put into the sport. There was much more money being put into the coaching positions. It had turned into something I was starting to not recognize. So that's when I made the shift to the Ivy League. Went to Yale University, had a great time coaching at Yale. Also had the great opportunity to coach my own daughter, which was really fun, something that I'll cherish, the rest of my life. And that bond between she and I, because of that experience, is never going to change. And thought that Yale might kind of be it, and the Air Force Academy, they wanted the program to be something special, and they wanted to do something with it. And I just had so much respect for the service academies. I felt the only people doing it better than the Ivy League were the service academies. And I honestly felt that way. Even when I was at Yale, I was like, oh wow, the service academies, there's just nothing like them. So when they asked me to come out and build the program, it was something I really, really realized I wanted to do. We started from, really ground zero. I couldn't have asked for a more wonderful and more meaningful experience in the last phase of my career.
I'm Nikki McDonald. I'm a senior. Been on the team for 4 years. One of the captains this year. I chose to come to the Air Force Academy because they reached out. It was actually toward the end of my senior year, and I had never heard of it or anything. But I took the free visit out to Colorado, and then I got here and I fell in love with the mountains, the people, and just the opportunities. And then the basketball, Division I basketball is obviously a plus.
Like when I was getting recruited and everything, every school talked about their basketball program. They talked about, their academics to a standpoint, but the Air Force Academy was the best academic school possible. And it's like I didn't want to go play just basketball in college. I wanted to make a decision that was best for the rest of my life. And just that the ideals that the academy stands for, it just means so much more than going and playing at another mid-major school.
Academics here are really hard. That plus balancing basketball is biggest struggle.
Prioritizing, well, this assignment needs done today, but I need to go get these shots up before this game.
Coach G's tough.
It's challenging but rewarding at the same time.
It's really nice. I really love the competitiveness, and Coach G is probably the most competitive one on the court.
I have the level of respect for her, so I think playing for her, you just respect her, so you want to do good.
Playing for her, you realize what you're capable of and what it needs to be done to change a culture.
It's taken us great places, and I'm really grateful for the experience to have her as my coach.
She has rebuilt multiple programs. This is definitely one of them. So from my freshman year, we were winning, 8 games and we were setting records. Now we're at, 12 wins on the season and we want more.
Coach Gobrecht and her 600.
If I'm going to coach at this point in my life, it's going to mean more than just winning basketball games. We were hit very hard by graduation. Half the team is freshmen. It's tough being a freshman anywhere, but it's especially tough being a freshman at a service academy. And so to have half your team going through that experience greatly impacts, the whole team. Even though they're the freshmen, they're a huge part of our team. The best thing about this team is they had a chance to see great basketball last year and see some success.
Going to the WNIT for the first time in program history was like a breath of fresh air.
Oh, it felt amazing, really. It was like not unreal, but it was just like, wow, like we actually did this. We actually made like history here.
Being a person who's able to contribute to that just is 10 times better. But the team was great, the work ethic was there, we had phenomenal leadership, and we all just had fun out there competing.
For me, it just is like, I want to go do that and be like a bigger part of the team and like lead a team to go do that again.
Air Force is a service academy, and that is the greatest distinction. It makes us entirely different from not only what goes on in the Power 5, but what goes on in the Mountain West for that matter. This is an entirely unique experience, and it's unlike anything I've ever done.